to AM 1160. The market went crazy yesterday. The social media universe went nuts as well a little bit. Elon Musk has bought 9.2% of Twitter. He becomes the majority owner, the largest shareholder in Twitter. What does it mean to you and me and anybody else who might use Twitter or other social media? We're on the line this morning with Chapwood Investments managing investment investor Ed Butowsky, who's going to talk about it with us. Our conversation is brought to you by Marcus and Mack, a law firm representing injured people. He's in Plano, Texas this morning and visiting with us here in Indiana, Pennsylvania. Ed, good morning.
Good morning. And, kind of a minor thing, but he's not the majority shareholder. He has the largest share position, but he doesn't control the entire company, which is an important distinction.
Yeah, it really is. My goodness. All right. So what does it mean, though, to the general Twitter user that Elon Musk is so involved in the company?
Well, it probably means a shift back towards the center because Twitter has become so left-leaning and it's become very anti-conservative. So along with having all these shares comes a lot of power, and the power to influence the direction of the company and the power to influence management. So the CEO is very fearful of his job. He was the CTO under Jack Dorsey and then became CEO. And I think that is a hot seat right now, that this guy is not going to survive Elon Musk having so much influence over the company.
Well, with Dorsey having said what he said recently about how he regrets the direction that Twitter has gone and the blatant censorship that they have out there, is there a connection there between Elon and what Jack Dorsey said?
No, I think Jack Dorsey, I don't know if you're allowed to say it on radio, but is full of it. I mean, all you have to do is look at his testimony and in front of Congress, and you could see that this man is very, very left-leaning. And he could have corrected the direction of the company, but failed to do so. And, he left there for a variety of reasons. Not so much just because he wanted to concentrate on others, but probably got himself into such a problem with the direction of the company, he couldn't turn it around if he wanted to.
Mm-hmm. What's motivating Elon Musk in this?
The idea that, some people have said, which I don't believe is true, that he's doing this to protect his 80 million Twitter followers and to protect his communication channel. And I don't believe that to be the case. But he's very much, kind of a conservative person, which sounds kind of bizarre because he's also running, the most, progressive, electric vehicle company, which the left loves, but the left doesn't love the idea that he is so conservative in his ways of looking at government and free speech.
And he sort of elbowed his way into a lot of different venues, including Ukraine, with his thing that he has going on there. Basically, the only reason we know what's happening in Ukraine is because of Elon Musk.
Yeah, there's no question. He really, for a long time, I always thought the guy was just kind of strange. But now I'm starting to really admire, how much he has going on and what he's doing with his influence. And he's using it for the better good. And what he did in Ukraine, is just remarkable, that they're able to get internet service where you look at the country and it's just decimated. But people can get word out because of Elon Musk, and he's really a hero from that standpoint.
Do you sense that there's still a little bit of mistrust that something else is going on here and people aren't really ready to, at least from the conservative standpoint, embrace him fully?
I think the conservative movement, conservatives will embrace anybody right now who shows a positive view towards the things that they hold so near and dear. So I think there's going to be more and more people like myself who are starting to kind of get over the Elon Musk hump and starting to really admire and like him.
All right. So Elon Musk makes this enormous purchase of Twitter stock. And you, of course, are an investing management guru. So tell us what it means for the average investor in social media and in Twitter specifically.
Yeah, I will tell you, when you look at equities, you always have to look at earnings. And they're still hurting from the standpoint of creating enough revenue. So I'm not a buyer of Twitter because Elon Musk has taken a position. I just don't believe that he alone is going to be able to turn the earnings around and create a lot more revenue. I think they're going to have to do a lot of other, robust changes to the program to make it a more of a revenue-producing machine than it is, because revenues are what drive stocks, not who purchases them.
Well, that being the case, what does this do to his holdings, and particularly Tesla or SpaceX?
They went up. He had 73 million shares, and they went up 10 points. So, I mean, he has about, he's made about $1 billion. But $1 billion to somebody who has 300 billion, you and I both know, because we both have 300 billion, that's not a big deal.
Ed, what universe are you in right now? Did you take one of those SpaceX rockets somewhere?
I told you I was in the Elon Musk now. So.
To the planet billions with Ed Butowsky this morning. As we look forward then to what changes might come to Twitter, does it also have an effect that trickles down to some of the other social media platforms, and does it portend for them in any way?
I don't believe so. I don't believe Google and Facebook are going to change their ways. The only thing that could happen is the people on Twitter who are also Google users and Facebook users could start to influence the direction of Twitter, and then they might start to influence the direction of Facebook and Google. But I don't believe that this alone is going to influence Google and Facebook, and Snapchat, and obviously Instagram being part of Facebook. I just don't believe that that's going to happen. I think this is an isolated incident.
You think it might begin, though, to pull a little bit of balance back into the whole equation, that others might take a step as well?
I don't know. I'm not a social expert, and I don't know the answer to that. I sure hope so, because, when I sit there and look at the things on, just Microsoft, where they send things to junk, everything there is conservative emails that they automatically send to my junk email, and same thing with Gmail. And that's another sense of or a sign of censorship is what they do there. So I certainly hope that some of the censorship goes away pretty soon, and we have a free town square open forum that we all want to have.
From a stockholder standpoint, when something big like this happens, like Elon Musk purchasing so much of Twitter stock, frequently you'll get big spikes up or down in a stock, depending upon who it is and what the dynamics of the purchase are. But then there's sort of a leveling off. Do you anticipate that with Twitter?
I do, because again, people bought on the hype, but when they realize that this isn't going to impact earnings, and again, everything comes back to earnings and growth rates, and this is not going to help the earnings or the growth rate. So I think that the stock will come back to where it was.
Did stock watchers see Elon Musk doing this? Was it something that anybody could have predicted?
No. When they buy these shares, they do it in a very secretive way. They do it where people can't get an understanding of what's happening. And I'm sure that he accumulated this over a long period of time, but he had to make that announcement recently. Yeah,
boy, I'll tell you what, Elon Musk has it all going on right now. He's got all the positives weighing in his favor. Ed Butowsky, thanks so much for spending some time with us, helping to explain this thing.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
It is the voice of Indiana County. It's WCCS 101.1 FM and AM 1160.